Two windows. One of them isn't even an installed game. It runs in a plain browser tab, no install. And each window has the other player in it, walking, name-tagged, actually there. This episode takes one fairness promise. The server decides what's true, and the client never gets to lie about where it is, and shows you the system that makes it structurally true, running and passing on camera. On the roadmap, it has a formal name, the first milestone. Two players see each other move in one zone. This is the story of that moment happening for the first time. The plan says this milestone finishes in the cloud, a real server in a real data center, with two players connecting from anywhere. But the cloud half of that sentence was waiting on paperwork, accounts, billing, the parts that need a person's signature, not more engineering. We weren't willing to let the authority model, the trust boundary, the part that has to be right before anything else can stand on it, sit blocked behind that paperwork. So we split the milestone. The hard part is proven, now, on a desk, where it's cheap to break things. The server is a real dedicated server. It just happens to run headless on the same desk as the two clients. The piece left is moving a proven thing into the cloud rather than building an unproven one there. That move is its own real work. Transport, distance, infrastructure, and it will bring its own problems, on camera, when we get there. But it starts from something that already holds up. Before two players can share a world, something has to decide what's true in it. Whose sword landed, where everybody is standing. In Darkerlight, that decision has exactly one owner, the server. It's a founding rule we wrote down before any code existed. The client is never trusted. Not with positions, not with speeds, not with outcomes. This week, that rule became wire format. Clients don't send, "Here's where I am now." They're never asked, because a server built right would only be lied to. They send intent. "I'm pushing this direction." Many times a second, a steady heartbeat. The server does the arithmetic itself, moves every player by the rules, and tells everyone what the world looks like now. The messages ride an established open binary format, implemented here in a couple hundred lines short enough to read end to end, with a round-trip test behind it. That cadence is a design choice. Deliberate tab-target combat gains nothing from a faster clock. What it needs is a server that resolves every tick the same way for everyone, with headroom to keep doing that when the field is crowded. A rule nobody has tried to break is only a wish, so we wrote a test that plays the cheater. It connects like a normal player, then sends a forged command demanding a wild, impossible speed. A client that runs in the open is a client anyone can rewrite, so the server has to assume every message is a lie. The server's answer, measured across the whole burst of forged input. The player moved at exactly the legal maximum, not a step faster. Every forged command caught, clamped, and logged. Then, the rest of the gauntlet. Raw garbage bytes that aren't even a message, ignored. The server keeps answering everyone else. A player vanishes mid-walk and reconnects. Clean exit, clean return, fresh identity. No ghost left standing in the field. And one we should name precisely, because this show only gets to be worth watching if we do. Replayed old commands are dropped by sequence number. That rule is written into the wire format, and the server enforces it on every message. But the gauntlet doesn't yet fire a stale command to prove it. Written down and enforced in code is not the same as tested, and we'll keep saying which one we mean. None of this is clever. Validating input on the server is the floor, not an achievement. What isn't standard is refusing to let it rot. It's an automated suite that runs on command today, and the same rules we wrote down at the start already reserve a slot for exactly this test. It is not yet a gate that blocks a broken build from shipping. When it is, you'll see it bite before we claim it. Then the moment itself. A dedicated server, no window, no graphics, just the world's arithmetic. A desktop client joins, one night in the meadow. Then a browser tab joins. The same world through the rendering layer EP05 fought for and proved. And on both screens, there are two. Both avatars are the knight from EP04, walking the terrain from EP05, coordinated by this week's server. 3 proofs, 1 running build, and the pieces we built separately compose into it cleanly, the way they were meant to. And none of it was taken on faith. Each client measured the gap between where it drew the other player and where the server said that player was, a fraction of a meter on average, exactly what the smoothing buffer should produce, since each client deliberately draws the world a beat late, so jitter never shows. Worth saying plainly, in this proof, a client draws even its own avatar straight from the server, with no prediction of its own. That's fine at desk distances, and it's the first thing real latency will come for. Each client confirmed the other genuinely traveled. A real walk across the meadow, not a statue. Every check passed, written to a report anyone can rerun with one command. Then the rendered frames. Both windows, both nights, both name tags were checked against the server's own record before the milestone was called done and matched. So here's what this didn't prove. Everything ran on one machine. Lag you'd never feel. No packet loss, no continents in between. Real players will bring real latency. The smoothing that worked here exists for that world, but it hasn't met it yet. The server owns movement across the ground and lets clients drape the world's height over it. Production will own all 3 dimensions, plus collision. And there's no login, no encryption, no persistence. Deliberate cuts for a proof that runs on a desk. That's the honest shape of the milestone. The authority model is proven, the part that's a design decision, not a tuning problem. What's still ahead is everything real distance brings. Latency, and the prediction work that hides it honestly, plus holding all of it up past 2 players, and the cloud deployment itself, which brings plenty of engineering of its own the moment it starts. An MMO is a promise that you won't be alone in the world. This week, that promise got its first working link. 2 players, 1 server's version of the truth, once in an app and once in a browser tab. 2 is not many. It's just the first one that had to be honest. And the promise underneath it held 2. A server built so the client is never trusted to report its own position. We attacked it again and again, trying to make it lie, and the field stayed honest. 2 players, 1 world. A data center is coming, and the part that had to be true first is already true.